Good evening. My name is Lisa, and I'll be your conference operator today. At this time, I'd like to welcome everyone to the PM Technical Briefing. All lines have been placed on mute to prevent any background noise. After the speaker's remarks, there will be a question-and-answer session. If you would like to ask a question during this time, simply press star, then the number 1 on your telephone keypad. If you'd like to withdraw your question, please press the pound key. Thank you. I would now like to turn the call over to Mr. Darren Badu. Sir, you may begin your conference.
Thank you, operator. This is Darren Bodo with the BP Press Office. Good afternoon. Welcome to our technical briefing this afternoon with Kent Wells. I think a lot of you already know the procedures for the call. We'll take a total of about, we'll let Kent sort of give an update, and then take a total of about 15 minutes or so for the call. Reminder that when you ask your question, each reporter is asked to identify themselves, their affiliation, and limit themselves to one call. So with that, I'll turn it over to Kent.
Thanks, Darren. Good afternoon, everyone. Apologize for the little later start. Wanted to make sure we didn't have our call directly over top of Admiral Allen's call. I'm assuring many of you listened to his, and I think you'll hear very consistent message from me, just demonstrating how closely our teams are working together during this important period of time. I'm going to cover 3 things today, update on the relief well, the well integrity test, and then talk a little bit about the static kill. So first on the relief well, our first relief well, the total depth is at 17,862. That's our casing point. We're 4 feet horizontally from the Mukunda well at 2.8 degrees, and we're looking directly at the Mukunda well, so we're absolutely perfectly positioned. The team is feeling very good about how they've set this well up. They're now in the process of what we call opening the hole, so they're drilling the hole a little bit bigger diameter, and then on Wednesday, Thursday, we'll run casing and cement it in place, and there's some testing to do, followed by the drill out and ranging runs, and as I've said many times, I believe we will be having an intersect at the end of July. In terms of the, and of course the second relief well is still at the casing point, waiting when to proceed. In terms of the well integrity test, the pressure continues to steadily rise, and the important part is the steady. It's at 6811 psi, rising about 1 psi per hour. It's absolutely following the trend that we would expect. In terms of our monitoring, the temperature remains steady. The seismic program that we've been doing still does not show any anomalies. The sonar has not picked up any anomalies. We have used the NOAA Pisces, which I think you heard Admiral Allen talk earlier, did pick up an anomaly 3 kilometers away. We don't believe that is associated with this in any way. In terms of where we have seen some gas bubbles, you heard me talk before off the 36-inch casing, which is the biggest piece of casing on the cement return line. We continue to have bubbles coming from that, but we're expected that to be with nitrogen associated with the cement. There, we did see some bubbles not too far from the wellhead. They were very low rate. We did capture them in a sample, and we're looking to get some good lab analysis done on that. We did a really rough check on it. It was only, I think, around 15% methane, which could be biogen. So we need to do the detailed analysis, but we weren't concerned about that. So I think what I'd say to you is continuing on with this test in 24-hour increments is absolutely the way for us to go forward. It'll allow us to keep monitoring the pressure. It's going in the right direction. Keep doing all this monitoring that just allows us to clearly distinguish between whether we have a depleted reservoir or whether we may lack integrity in the well. And I think the longer this test goes on, and assuming we continue to see the same things we're seeing, then we'll just gain more and more confidence that the well has integrity and we do have a depleted reservoir. So I think the way we've laid it out with the monitoring and sort of going in 24-hour increments makes a lot of sense. In terms of the static kill, and let me talk about this because this is people are probably going, gee, we haven't heard about this, and I think there's good reasons. This is very much in its infancy. This is not something that we've approved to do. We want to have a number of sessions going through all our procedures. But let me tell you what brought this into play. There was two things that allowed this to become a reality. First of all was the possibility of the well having integrity. We needed to have that. The tests are encouraging at this point, but we haven't made a firm decision on that, but that was important. And the second piece was the fact that it had a lower reservoir pressure. That was important as well to make sure we stay underneath any pressure constraints we might have with the system. And so the big difference between the static kill and, of course, before when we talked about the top kill, which was a dynamic kill where we had to pump at tremendously high rates to try to overcome the flow of the well, it's a very different situation when you actually have the well shut in. We can pump at low rates, we can keep it at low pressures, and do it in a very different way. So we're going to work through with the teams and work with the scientists and see whether this is something we can do. It clearly has some advantages in lowering the wellhead pressure, et cetera, maybe even to the point of the well being killed. But these are all the things that we need to work through. Now, what I want to stress, though, is at the end of the day, the relief well will still be the ultimate solution. We will still drill in with the relief well to make sure that the annulus is dead, et cetera. But this static kill does give us a new option. Like always, we like to pursue parallel options. We like to use an overabundance of caution, and that's what we're doing to move forward. So I'll put it as it's encouraging at this point, but there's a couple days of work to do before we'd be in a position to make a decision. And any decisions we've made, of course, would be made by Admiral Allen through Unified Command. And with that, I'll open it up for questions.
At this time, if you'd like to ask a question, please press star, then the number 1 on your telephone keypad. We will pause for just a moment to compile the Q&A roster. Our first question will come from the line of Kristen Hayes with Reuters.
Hi, Kent. I'd like to ask you, Admiral Allen kind of referred to this a little bit, but I'm wondering how much the current operation, doing the seismic, using the NOAA vessel, is holding up the setup of the 4-vessel containment system. And every day that this test goes on, does that give you more confidence that you can just keep this well shut in until the relief well does its job?
Thanks, Kristen. Good question. So SIMOP, or simultaneous operations, is always a challenge for us. But one thing the teams have been working on is how can we do the monitoring at the frequency we wish to do it at and still continue with all of our operations. It's clearly a challenge. I think Admiral Allen talked a little bit about trying to get in sync in what we needed to do for monitoring and also being in sync with all the other operations we have going on. I think we're getting to the point that we're getting to a better plan, and it's not necessarily an issue right now, but it could become one down the road. But that's something the teams will just continue to work, and we'll do everything we can that we can keep everything moving forward. Absolutely, the relief wells are moving forward. We're moving forward with all the containment. We're moving forward with the well integrity test, and it's just about finding the right balance between all of them.
Our next question will come from the line of Mario Garcia with NBC News.
Hi, Ken. Thanks for taking the call, and thanks for having a briefing today. Just following up a bit on that, judging by what Admiral Allen said and what you're saying thus far, is there a sense that he talked about the interconnectedness and parallel tracks, and so have you, but are there differing priorities between the BP folks and any of the government folks, or when you all are in that room or on the teleconference, it seems that